Thank you, Linda. This is Ted Enoch. I am a middle-class, middle-aged white man with short, increasingly gray and brown hair and a black t-shirt. I just want to put a shout out and a note of gratitude to my podmates. Not everyone will be able to speak today because of time, but thank you to Mona and Sean and Linda and Sharmila and Joan. And just a note of gratitude as we start. Our project really comes at the intersection of a community practice that everyone convened and a sharing of personal and professional experiences. That in the very beginning of our process, there was a lot of story sharing, and many folks in our pod have lifelong experiences having been raised on the North Shore of Staten Island. My co-presenter, Sean, spoke very movingly, not just within our pod, but across the whole fellowship in ways that really helped direct our attention to the opportunities we could do. Many people know that one of the big inequity metrics is that people's life expectancies are really defined by their zip code. And in New York City, we have 20-year gaps between some of our wealthy Manhattan neighborhoods and some of the poor outer borough neighborhoods. Some of the folks in our pod who spoke personally about their experience in New Brighton brought our attention to the Jersey Street corridor, and personal experiences connected with professional experiences that made us think there's a real opportunity to try to figure out how to bring community wellness resources here. We did some mapping about where are supermarkets, pharmacies, health providers, and things like that. And we recognize the desert around the Jersey Street corridor. Next slide, please, Linda. Thank you. Linda was our powerhouse organizer behind our whole pod, by the way, everyone. We did some mapping, and then we ended up with we can go to the how might we. We ended up with a question about how might we make community wellness resources more accessible in New Brighton by utilizing public spaces, specifically within the Jersey Street corridor. And we got to thinking about Mahoney Playground. Around Mahoney Playground, you have the NYCHA houses of Richmond Terrace, and just north is another sort of low-income community of housing, and there's some middle-class housing around that. And that playground is the central point where a lot of things can happen. Next slide, please. We started wondering what could happen, and this program made us think about beautiful solutions and what is already happening that's strong and powerful in neighborhoods. And that brought us into a conversation relationship with Sarah Blass and the Staten Island Therapeutic Gardens, who are doing incredible things on the public space of the NYCHA homes there at Richmond Terrace. They're doing programs there that are intergenerational, that are a combination of gardening and nutrition. And their vision there is that programming can lead to contact with self-care programs, both referrals and practices. And then Sarah continued to connect us to a network of beautiful solutions and local providers who are doing beautiful, powerful work in open spaces in the least restrictive manner to connect folks to healthy programs and opportunities for lifelong self-care practices. And the rest of this presentation is going to sort of be a tour of some of those incredible, beautiful solutions that are already at work in the New Brighton community. And I'm happy and proud to turn this over to my colleague, Sean Landry.
Thank you, Ted. I truly appreciate it. And the beautiful solutions that we were looking at for the New Brighton area are to empower, because there are so many different programs going on in this area already. And so we just wanted to find the solutions that were already in place, and how could we enhance and sustain their ability. Next slide, please. Okay, so the first one is the Staten Island Therapeutic Gardens. And as my colleague said, Ted, the executive director is Sarah Blass, and the Therapeutic Gardens became a place where community members could not only create a garden, but also do yoga and self-care and wellness workshops. What we are hoping to do is to help them find ways to expand that. And so when I see garden, I think beauty and flowers, but I also think food. healthy, fresh food. And since New Brighton and the Jersey Street corridor has some food deserts, they have fresh butcher, but they don't have grocery stores. They have little bodegas all up and down the corridor. Another way to bring this in for wellness would be, how could we create and bring in and enhance, not create, but enhance a open fresh food market at Mahoney Park. Next slide, please. And so we looked at that idea of a fresh food market, but we also love the idea of the Forest Avenue Community Fridge, which has been displayed in the ad vans and it's on social media. But the beauty of it is they only bring food that is healthy. So there's not a lot of processed food. There's not oodles of noodles, which is inexpensive but very high in sodium, which then leads to high blood pressure and can exacerbate underlying health conditions. So an additional community fridge where we spoke with the folks from Forest Avenue, and they're interested in bringing it into the New Brighton area, would also help address wellness. The JCC has an abundance of intergeneral programs in the NYCHA Community Center there. But we also are looking for different ways for wellness to come in. Next slide, please. Thank you, Linda. And so not only the mobile pantry that Project Hospitality brings in, we're thinking it, which is a wonderful and awesome idea, and not only the community health action of Staten Island, but what else can come into the community to enhance, to expand that mobile food pantry or mobile wellness, so that when we're having an event with the therapeutic gardens, could the health mobile be in the area to piggyback on different health wellness and checks and making sure that people have access. Next slide. And so, again, I know I keep saying enhance, and we are saying that because I'm a lifelong Staten Islander. I serve families that live in this area. I worship in this area, and I don't want anyone to think that we feel like we have this grand idea. When we did our concept mapping, we found all these wonderful activities that were available, and we're just looking for ways to supplement, enhance, and grow what was already available. And so the Child Wellness Initiative community and the Build Environment Work Group, and they're seeking to advance public health objectives in these open space environments. And so to bring in more wellness and health to the Jersey Street corridor. Also, there are different ways to bring employment or internships to the community of Jersey Street by these local CBOs, community-based organizations, utilizing the DYCD's Summer Youth Employment Program, which actually runs year-round for older youth, where they can gain job skills and the community can gain the community can gain economic capital as well as health capital wellness. Next slide, please. Okay. So, in conclusion, what we did was we looked at an area through mapping. We found what worked. We saw different ways that could help increase funding for different organizations like the Staten Island Therapeutic Gardens, like funding a community fridge, and enhance different intergenerational wellness and mental health services. So thank you so very much. And like it says, it takes a whole community to make the community